Boundaries are really important because it's boundaries that protect our peace. But I think a lot of times we get to a point where we feel it's another person's job to respect our boundaries. But boundaries are more of an internal thing. It's more of an internal shift than an external shift because I feel like if we get to a point where we're mad at someone else for not respecting our boundaries, it's a projection. It's a projection of our anger with self for us not respecting our own boundaries. And so instead of like, it's easier, it's more palatable to blame someone else than to take accountability for the fact that you violated yourself. And the language that I'm using sounds harsh because that's the harsh pill. That's how we see it. You know what I mean? But it's really not. It's an opportunity to learn, okay, I said this is what it was going to be. This is the law I set for myself. I did not respect it. And now I don't like how it feels. So next time I can do something different. I think it is important to rip the Band-Aid off sometimes and just really, because it's easy. Like I told you before, like our ego is easy to be like, oh no, but they were hungry. I'm a kind woman, so I could give of myself. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to justify not keeping our boundaries. And then we'll turn around at the end of it and feel depleted, feel violated, feel like we're not poured into, feel like we've been taken advantage of. And it's so easy to get mad at somebody else and blame someone else and make someone else responsible for that. But it's like people will take what we give. Yeah. And yes, we have other people. We have people who are going to continue to take and take and take. And they're not necessarily wrong for that because we're giving. Yeah. We're giving. And so if that becomes a problem, stop giving. Problem solved. Problem solved. And if we can't stop giving, the good question is, hey. And so there's processes that we can go through to really gain more clarity on why does this pattern keep coming up? And that's where self-mastery coaching sessions and things come into play. That's where survival to solver comes into play because it allows us to really dig deeper. Like I can help set the stage to dig deeper and figure out so you can gain some clarity and figure out, okay, it makes sense in my mind, but for some reason it doesn't play out that way. Why doesn't it play out that way? What part of me still needs this? And why do I need it? Stuff like that. The why. So that's a process that we go through in self-mastery coaching sessions, which is super, super valuable. It is super helpful because once you know better, it now gives you the access to better experiences, higher quality decisions, more aligned decisions. I'm not necessarily going to say higher quality decisions, but more aligned decisions. Because when we feel that disruption and peace is because there's a part of us that's not in alignment with who we really are. There's a part of you that feels the boundary is reasonable and it makes sense. And so when we're not in alignment with that, doesn't feel good. So yeah, boundaries are key. But remember, boundaries apply to us. When we set boundaries, that's for us, not for other people. So if you're feeling like your boundaries are not being respected, then take a look within and see how you are not upholding that boundary and just make some new decisions. Reach out to me because I can absolutely help. If it's not easy, if it's hard to access that clarity, which it probably will be, because the conscious mind is going to tell you something that seems like it makes sense. Oh, if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it. I can't leave them out there like this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's going to tell you a bunch of things that make sense. But it doesn't make sense if you walk away from the interaction feeling anything less than empowered and satisfied with the exchange. It was an agenda, not because, and I honestly feel like this is how society has gotten to the point where it's very transactional. Yeah. I do for you, you do for me. Now you owe. You feel me? Yep. You do for me, now I owe you. As opposed to I do for you just because I want to see you win. Yeah. And to be honest, we can say, oh, I'm doing this, I want to see women win. Yeah. And I even had to convict this within myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, is it because you want to see women win, or it's because you want women to see you or people to see you in a certain way? You want to appear a certain way. And so what that would suggest, though, is an area where you can love yourself and validate yourself more. Because if you need people to see you, if you feel like you need to step outside of your authenticity for people to see you in a certain way, then that means that you have not accepted your own authenticity. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful invitation to be aware of that and to just get to know your authenticity. Get to know it for what it is, because it's not going to change. You're going to be who you are. When you stop pretending to be someone else, you're going to be who you are. So it's a beautiful thing to get to know who you are and to learn to accept it. And if there's a part where we feel like I'm showing up in a certain way around certain people so that those people can think a certain way about me, I think it's helpful to now focus on, okay, what do I think about me? Let me live in a certain way so I can think certain things about me. Stuff like that. Because we deal with this. We deal with this. And there's little flowery cloud marshmallow language around it. So people don't feel bad. And it's really not about to feel bad, but I'm feeling bad. You don't have to feel bad. But it is what it is. And it's helpful to acknowledge that. And if what it is not quite what you want, then there's opportunity to make the changes.